Okay guys, here we are. It's been a few days since this thing was finished. When was it finished?
The 12.
The 12?
Today it's 16.
16, so about 4 days ago. So what I did since then, as you can see, I installed all the shut-off valves to all of these things here. And I also installed the aerator. And I connected this to the water out here, and I connected a 1-inch hose here. And the reason it's overflowing right now is because it filled to the brim. Now, as I expected, when you turn that valve on right there, it feeds all these valves. If you open them all at the same time, because it is gravity fed, it goes from a big flow to a smaller flow to a smaller flow to a smaller flow, just as expected, because it is being gravity fed and pushed by the weight of the water. Of course, I never intend to turn all the things on except one at a time. So when you do one at a time, it has a very, very good flow. And what we're going to do today is we're going to put a couple of inches of water down here. And as you can see, there's some water there from the trying on those valves here. But if you look at the bottom, there's a lot of cement and clumps and yeah, just a whole bunch of things. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is put enough water in all the tanks to soak all that stuff there, and then use a hoe and scrape it off, and then pump it out. Now, as I told you before, one of the problems that I have here is there's a lot of iron in the water, so you get a lot of rusty water. So I got this aerator, and I thought it would get rid of the majority of the problem, but even then, there's still a lot of rust. If you open this down here and bleed off the bottom of the tank, there's a lot of rust comes out. I mean, it's just brown, brown, brown. As you can see, I filled this tank up right here, and you could see the amount of rust. So what we're going to have to do, I'm going to try not to have to do it, but over there where the water tanks for the house are, you have 2 metal filters that have sand, gravel, bigger gravel, and manganese, and it takes almost 100% of the rust out of there. When it comes out, it's clear. So I might have to buy a couple of them tanks, connect this first tank to it, and then use the second tank to feed the filter, and then that will in turn feed the tanks. Or what I'm hoping I can get away with is today is Sunday. Tomorrow they're gonna bring me 2 concrete slabs to try out and see if it works. I wanted to put a 4-meter slab here, 35 centimeters wide, and rest it on top of there, all along here, and then here, and then pick up the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and so on. But they don't make them. 3.5 is all they make. But they do make a 1 meter and they make a 2 meter. So Woon and I talked about it. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to put a 1 meter here, put a 2 meter here. This way to leave 1 meter on this side, 1 meter on this side. A 2 meter, 2 meter, 1 meter. And then what we'll do is from here, we will put 2 trash cans, plastic trash cans, and build a filter, coarse gravel, medium gravel, and then the last one will be pea gravel and sand. And then in this corner, for those of you that saw the other videos, there's an indentation there for the sump pump to go in. So the water will be pumped from here up to the first can with a coarse gravel, gravity fed into the next one, gravity fed into the last one, and then gravity fed back into the tank. And we'll see how that goes. Hopefully that'll take care of this rust problem, because if it doesn't, then the expensive fix is to buy those metal containers to filter that water. But if that's what needs to happen, that's what needs to happen. Well, we're just going to have to wait and see. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to also clean the floor, hose it all out. As you can see, there is a lot of cement dust and clump cement and cigarette butts and I don't know what else is down in here. So we're going to hose this thing off. We'll hose off the walls, fill up the bottom to let it soak for a few hours, and then we can remove all that cement that stayed down there. And then as you can see, those little things that I was talking about, indentations on there, this pavement is slanted, all coming in from both, all 3 sides. So once we scrub it out, then we'll pump it out, get the accumulation of whatever goes into that thing there, and then we can go ahead and let it dry out again, and hopefully by that time we'll have a solution to the rust. So if there's anybody out there that has any ideas, let me know. Keep in mind that there will be fish in there, so we can't be throwing bleach and acid and hand grenades and what have you, because they have to live there and they have to breathe. Right, Woon?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Holy cow. All right. Okay, you're gonna get what?
Come in, Yoshi. Come in, get in. Yoshi want to pay. Go around. Go around.
Come here. Come here. Yeah, so what we will do is we will get all this cement dust. We'll see how much water stays trapped, and at the same time we'll hydrate the cement, and then we will let it dry one more time before we fill it up all the way. the first time, we're going to overfill. The first time we're going to overfill this thing so that everything will get wet and all that stuff. You see how that water is going to get soaked in there? So, yeah, so what we do is, after we weigh it all down and everything, we'll scrape any cement blocks that are left behind there. And, yeah. And then over time you go into it's clean. You don't want to get up. What happened?
It says too cold.
Yeah. There goes that one. There you go. Yeah, this thing, see how far off this thing is? They did a very bad job because there was no attempt at leveling. But don't get me wrong, I'm glad that it's done. But it would have been nice if it was a little closer to level. Because the more level it is, the easier it is to keep clean and all that stuff. See here? Big time. Here. You have used to this? You might have to get the broom and help me move this because there's a lot of water here.
Or we try to put it out from the wind that we put in here.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's going very close. That's only at 1 inch. Well, I just go to the other side and what's over there. Let me see if I can get some of this water over there. Yeah, this is really bad there. Oh, see how full that thing is? If it's covering the whole bottom, turn it off and turn the next one over. Yeah, here you go. What's this in there?
Come here. Oji. Let's go. Let's go over there. Come on.
The coconut room is over there. Okay, so we hose this thing off to get a lot of the dust and what have you. And I'm happy to announce that this thing is almost as straight as a corkscrew, but a corkscrew is a little bit more on the level side. Yeah. Between that end and about here, it's so far down, it holds more water than the tank. Same thing with that side, and same thing with this side. It is terribly not level at all. But it is what it is. What can you do? Now, Woon is down here. He's scraping this thing after it's soaked. Get all that loose rendering cement that was here and there. Huh? Yeah, it goes here. Yeah. She's getting all the loose stuff there. I'm going to get the sump pump and start pumping this water out so we can clean this thing as much as possible so that at a later time the stuff is not breaking off a little bit at a time over months and months. So after we clean all these tanks, we will probably fill them up halfway and then 3/4 and so on and so forth. And hopefully they'll hold. Hopefully there won't be any cracks. And yeah. And then after that, it's a matter of setting up the filters and see what we can do about cleaning up this water here. Tomorrow, Woon is going to call the well guy and see if he has any suggestions. And hopefully he does, because if we have to buy another set of filters like we did for the house, the blue metal tanks, them suckers are expensive. So hopefully we won't have to do that. And maybe these homemade earth filters made out of some plastic trash cans, gravel, medium gravel, pea gravel, and sand will do the job. All right, let's clean this up and see what happens. A funny thing happened on the way to the market. If you look at this here, it's full of rust. Now, I suppose the aerator is doing what it's supposed to, is to separate the iron from the rest of the water. And I'm filling up this tank, letting it overflow and filling up the next one. And then I take it from there and put it in here, and this is what I get. So I guess it needs time to settle or something. Or I'm gonna have to get a filter like I had been talking about before it gets in here. Now, this water is straight from the well, and it's not clear, but it's not brown or reddish brown. So I am assuming that because it hasn't been aerated, it hasn't released the iron, and perhaps later it will or something. I don't know. Gonna have to call the well guy tomorrow and find out. And here, I'm adding some water here, and as you can see, it's just flowing out and not going through the aeration process. And this water, if you look at it, it's just like this one here. So what I'm gonna do is continue to fill these. Right now, I am cleaning this tank out, and before the evening's over, I will clean this one out. Tomorrow, I will do these 4 over here. Get all that clump cement at the bottom and all the dust and whatever's in there. As they were working, they dropped screws and they stayed in there, so I've picked up screws along the way, and yeah. So, too bad it wasn't money. Okay. All right, let me continue doing this because the evening is going fast. It's almost 6 o'clock. So, let me get this done. So here it is the following day. What was semi-clear yesterday is just like this, which was run through the aerator. So what I have discovered is whether it goes through the aerator or it doesn't, it will eventually because you're exposing it to oxygen, that air will separate that iron from the water, and this is what you get. So basically, putting it through the aerator is just a faster process where you can actually separate the iron, filter it, and then use it, and you won't have this. So we're going to have to look into getting a filtration system for that water, and yeah, see how it goes. Okay, so there it is. All the tanks have been cleaned of all the concrete cement debris that was down there. So now it's a matter of filling these things. As you can see, it progressively gets deeper as we go down this way. This one here is way deeper than all of them. This one is the same. This one is not quite as deep, and neither is this one. But I was filling them this morning, but I stopped so I can bring this up to this level and then work from there. All right, time for lunch. Thanks for watching.
ขอบคุณเจ้า
See you next time.
แล้วปะกันแฮมไมนะเจ้า
See you.
บ๊ายบาย